It's chicken. I'd say it's kind
of...
I'm thinking, well, I'll bring it up in a second.
No, it's fine. I mean, this is the time. If you want to bring it up now, Pernell.
Well, we haven't said the intro.
Hello, welcome to The Pixel. My name is Rob Nichols. That's Pernell. Everybody who listens to great video game music. Pernell, air your grievances.
All right. Time to walk around the pole here. So, the Festivus pole. I think it was funny that we were talking about like 80s like humor and like 80s 80s based entertainment in the concept of the show's topic for the day, because there are definitely elements that I do miss. There's elements that I don't miss. But it's funny how despite having that general feeling, even the stuff I don't miss, it still ultimately factors into that pocket of 80s nostalgia where I'm like, remember when that happened? Man, that made me like for this to this day, for example, I hated the concept of Steve Urkel. I hated it.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the fact that he himself wasn't bad. He was portrayed in such a way.
Yeah, like as a kid of that time, I'm like, oh, a fun, nerdy, kind of clowny kid.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking like, wait, if I mean, I'm a young, nerdy white boy. I'm okay with that. But if I was like a young, nerdy black guy, I would be like probably really upset about it.
And it annoys you.
Wow, I dropped the F-bomb.
But it also really annoys you too. Also, hey, it's 80s we're talking about here.
But everything's flying.
But that's the thing though, like, Urkel at the core was a pretty solid character, right? Like he was intelligent. Yeah. He could invent cool things. He was kind. He helped people out when he could. He was a decent person. He was annoying, as was written, but he was a good person, also as was written. All people cared about was when they wanted to insult you was high waters, snort, laugh, and clumsiness. Never the other solid qualities the character had.
He was pretty toxic with what's her name.
Laura.
I'm gonna wear you down. Like that he's got to let it go, because she says no, he's got to move on.
Oh, let's be blunt
That's
here.
Not
they
cool.
They wrote that character poorly in that capacity because he had actual opportunity to talk to people that treated him better, looked better.
She had every right to
rapport.
She had every right to call the police after like one season.
Oh, pretty much. But it's just the fact that like he had access and opportunity with people who were nicer to him, looked better than her, had better personalities than her. Like they had all these things she didn't, and he was just like, nah, I can't. I am faithful to someone who doesn't give hoot magoots about me and my existence.
Yeah, and of course, it's a sitcom, so at the end of the series, it all worked out for him in the end because he was the main character in the end.
Yeah, and he ended up marrying her after going to space.
To go to space. Welcome to Rhythm and Pixels.
The show where we talk about not video games.
We are a video game, a video game music podcast. We listen to great music from all consoles and all generations every week. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I am not Steven.
And I thought we had some 80s, early 80s conversation going on today. We're going to a themed party next. This is coming weekend, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be weird.
I don't know your character, but we're supposed to be getting cards.
I'm Biff Buffman.
You're Biff Buffman?
Biff Buffman. I'm not even buying a costume. I'm going to put it together with stuff in the house.
I'm Danny's son. I am. I'm essentially the Karate Kid.
I'm Zach Morris.
Trash.
But hey! I'm not advocating, but I'm going to portray that character.
I either portray the character as like the Karate Kid character, or I do it like a weeaboo, where like I make like a really annoying Japanese references and like talk about anime nonstop because I'm obsessed with Japanese culture.
So for those who are like, what party are these guys talking about? It's an 80s murder mystery party.
Yeah,
where we were all like given character identities. We were given associations with other people.
I haven't gotten those yet.
Yeah, you'll probably get it at the party itself. Yeah. And I'm like trying to hold off till the party because I got to deal with people that I'm like, I don't want to talk to them offline or whatever. So I'm waiting till I'm there. But like, I don't know how this is going to play out. I just know that the character I was given reminds me of Zach Morris. So I get to get like a preppy scarf and like some cargo pants and like some freaking deer stag shoes that I have in the closet.
I can't wait to see it.
And I get to walk in there and be the complete opposite of my usual self, like smug. Like, hey, everybody. You looking thirsty over there. You want something to drink, woman? I got you covered. Look, take this money. I don't need this money.
That would be so funny.
I don't need this. My dad's got me covered. My family's got me in the pocket.
Christy's essentially Punky Brewster.
Oh, that would be a fun character.
Yeah,
Just don't get locked in the fridge.
Locked in the fridge?
Yeah, remember that episode Punky Brewster was known for?
Nope.
It was an episode where her and Cherry were playing hide and go seek, and Cherry hid inside of a refrigerator, and it locked her inside, and she almost suffocated in the fridge.
Danny Tanner. Oh, that would have been amazing. If this were a 90s thing, I'd be Danny Tanner.
Let's be honest. Someone's probably going to be Danny Tanner.
Yeah, someone's going to be like that sitcom dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If that's Tom, that'd be really funny. We did a murder mystery party very similar with our old friends. I'm not even going to say their names because, you know what? I don't remember their names. But it was like a whole bunch of people were invited. And when you walked into the door, they gave you a card that said who your name, who you were, and essentially your connections with two other characters, and then like a couple of clues. And then the person running the show was also all a character. They would read kind of a script, and then everybody had a chance to chime in with their clues. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like you were like directing a play with everyone involved, but there were acts to it. So after the first act, everyone would listen to it and talk and kind of joke. And then you go and you'd have like appetizers or drinks. And then you come back and have Act 2, and you hand out new clues.
Oh, I hope that happens here.
And then you'd read through it again, and everyone kind of read through the play. And then you'd have dinner, and you'd come back, and there was like one more thing. Apparently, it was like in the 80s or the 70s, like they sold these boxes of games like that. And that wasn't Thea. I forget her name. She had a whole bunch of them that her parents had. They used to throw these parties when they were little kids, and they would like make them leave the house like with their grandparents.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and they would have these big murder mystery parties. And I was like, I would love to do this again. So I'm hoping this is what it's like.
Well, I can tell you right now,
because he's a big Dungeons and Dragons guy, so I'm sure he's gonna, and he's an actor, so he's gonna be really into it.
I can tell you right now, the one big interaction I had, and then we probably should start talking show stuff, unless people are enjoying this. In which case, I like talking 80s nonsense. Yeah. But so at Kilbasa-Con, I did have an interaction with one person. Kilbasa-Con is a board game convention that a friend of ours throws up here. Invites a bunch of people.
And it's more of like a family barbecue,
lots of board games,
like all day board game party.
But I had my first interaction with one of the people at the party where they walked up to me because their card told them that they had information for me.
Yeah.
And they walked up to me and was like, they went in the character, and apparently they have a massive rivalry and they just don't like me. And I was like, all right, you got a problem with me? Tough tomatoes. I'll show you at the party. I'm better than you. I'm better than all of you. You don't own me. I can buy and sell you. Like, I was talking real grimy. Like, I can buy and sell you. Don't talk to me like you're better than me. My dad will throw you under the bus so fast. Like, it was so funny. And but after I said that, I was like, okay, hope you enjoy your board game. Like, I completely shifted
That's
back.
so funny. I love that. I can't. I'm really looking forward. I'm just looking forward to getting out.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going to work.
And that's how you know you've been cooped up.
That's how you know when you're a dad. Kind of looking forward to going back.
Oh, I forgot to mention the biggest ridiculous thing that happened during this period of time where we were off the show.
Yes.
So you already know about this, but the listeners don't.
Darn it! I was hoping for new information.
Nah. For people who don't know, chances are everybody in the chat group knows my mom's been dealing with some serious medical issues, and I've been kind of helping out as a caretaker for that. Which is a large part of my availability issues. There was a period on one of these outings where I had to take her in for treatment early in the morning where some complications occurred and some events happened, and the end result was I spent 17 hours in the emergency room just sitting around in the emergency room area and going up and down the hospital for testing and stuff like that. And when I tell you that this experience was like an absolute test of fortitude, I mean it. It was insane. Like, if it was just me by myself, it would have been like, I got to switch. I'll kill some time. And if I have to leave, I'll let the nurse or somebody know and come back. But my mom was there, and my mom couldn't go anywhere. She was the one that needed to be there. So I had to deal with my temperament, her temperament, the insane environment of the emergency room. And there was a lady to the right of me.
Were you at Wilmington?
No, Christiana. There was a woman to the right of me that was saying like some subtle, like racist but not racist stuff, because you know the type where it's like, they're not a bad person. They're actually being genuinely nice, but they have racial undertones.
Exactly.
To them.
Like they're so they're so blissfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't rock the boat. Don't
We're
rock
like,
the
oh,
boat.
you're really
We're-
sweet, but man, you just got to think a little bit harder about those thoughts that you have, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there was a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
And I almost got picked up by the cops at one point because I went up to the counter and
Yeah.
my mom kind of started losing her mess. And I was like, I started losing my mess. I'm like, I'm about to go to jail, I guess. Let's go take care of some business.
No.
And I walked up to the counter. The nurse was like, look here, lady. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But I've been here for about 15 hours now. I am losing it. My mom is losing it. Everyone in that room is making me lose it because they've already lost it. You need to give me something. Give me something. Like, and the cop looked over at me. I was like, I know you see me. I don't care. Someone's got to talk to me. Give me something to work with, whatever it is. Just give me something to take back in that room because it was rough. And it got to the point where at one point I thought we were going to be there all night.
Yeah.
And I had to leave to go get like sleeping supplies and just like goods from the house. And I had nobody to do it because everybody was out of town and stuff. So I was like, okay, I have to go. I can get to and from the hospital as quickly as possible. I'll pick up some pillows, some supplies, and bring them back. When I tell you that I dominated the interstate, I mean it. I got from Newark to home and back in 30 minutes.
That's scary, actually.
Yes.
Well, it was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning.
No, at this point it was like between like 9 and 10.
Oh, it was rush hour.
So I decimated that interstate. And my mom, I got back. Mom was like, "How are you already back?" I was like, "Don't ask questions. Here's your pillow."
You can always give us a call. You know, we're close by. If you ever need anything.
I appreciate it. I try not to bug people. Usually,
But I mean, like, that's an extreme situation. You can always call us in extreme situations. So
Okay.
just keep that in mind. Because, I mean, recently we've had a similar issue in the ER, and we were there for hours, and then they decided to keep her. And so we were like, just sitting there, like, what do we do? And so we had our phones, and we're like, let's words with friends.
Yep.
Is there Catan? How can we play Catan with each other?
Imagine an age where the emergency room was a thing and you didn't have entertainment like that, like when before cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I mean, the Game Boy at best, maybe.
Because if they give you a room, they have like little TVs in that emergency area. They don't. I asked where you were because the Wilmington is terrible.
So basically, there's no safe haven.
Wilmington is not great. It's not great at all. Yeah, it's only great because it's so close. So if you have to get somewhere fast, you can go there. But go to Christiana.
And that makes me real sad to hear because I was thinking the exact opposite. I was like, going forward, I'm going to Wilmington.
Oh man, and don't even get me started on. Don't even get started on the food court. Anyway, this is Delaware Hospital talk with Robin Pernell. All right, so let's listen to some tunes. We got a whole bunch of great submissions. I have a fun
The topic.
I also have a fun game for Pernell and for the listeners. I would love for people to chime in. Some of it's just fun. Some of it is kind of 80s related because it's just kind of like fun old game stuff. But our topic, I did tell most people that the topic was kind of a wild card situation. Because when me and Pernell talk, I don't listen. I'm saying it right now. I don't listen that well, Pernell.
Very, very bad man, Mr. Nichols.
But our topic, Pernell, your mouth is full. What is the topic?
Okay, so the topic is things we miss, be like primarily video games or like media, but pretty much game franchises that we miss. It could be a game franchise that you're familiar with from back in the day. It could be one you played a year ago, but you're like, I want more of that. But ultimately, just games you miss.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like I'm missing a lot of games right now. I started Sea of Stars.
Oh, you joined up. That means you and Chris would have a lot to talk about. Because
I started Sea of Stars.
Which is more than I've done. I purchased it.
I know. I started the game and I was like, oh, I can probably get a couple hours in before I got to crash. Like, that is probably 2 hours more than Pernell's played and will play for a while.
I mean, it's gonna happen. I'm going to start it up this month. I'm going to at least experience the beginning parts of it. I know I will.
It's doing that thing where it's kind of like setting up the characters kind of in a slow-paced way. It's almost a little too slow, but then it picks up really nicely, and it ties these characters together, and it's just really nice. I love the writing in this so far, and of course it looks super nostalgic.
It provides you with starry.
It's really nice, and the music's really, really pretty. So You'll crush this game in a week if you just sit down and play it. You'll finish it so fast. It's not long.
I can't imagine that. I mean, Chris just said he's 14 hours in, so I'm not getting 14 hours of one game in a week.
No, that's true.
Unless I'm review light or something.
But it's it's only, I heard from what I've read, it's like about a 30-hour experience if you're not going for all the stuff. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like that's a good solid year of video gaming for me.
14 hours? That's a year, baby.
Yeah, I can stretch that out.
That's a paddling.
I was going to play last night, but I crashed at 8:30. I just couldn't stay awake.
Tis the season.
Yeah,
and then lack sleep.
And we were and there's some shows we want to watch too. Because now I have Matt's Plex server, Mattflix.
Oh, you know what you can start watching? Because I started watching it off of there. Then again, it depends on how you feel about it. It could go either way for a person. Zom 100.
Zom 100.
So,
wait. That sounds familiar.
Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. It's an anime that I actually started watching, which is surprising because I suck at keeping up with recent anime shows.
Yeah.
But I like the premise a lot, even for a zombie show, where the premise is a guy goes to college, he graduates from college, and he gets a job, which is not quite he believes it to be like a dream job of his, working in a production company. And it ends up being a horrible company that exploits him and pretty much just drags him through the mud. And he works there for 3 years, and he becomes just dead to the world. And then one day, zombie apocalypse happens.
Okay.
And he is excited about it. He is extremely happy that this happened because it means he no longer has to go to his job.
Oh my God, this is too real.
And then it becomes a matter of him deciding that he doesn't know how long he's got before he becomes an actual zombie at some point. So he decides to come up with a list of things he wants to do before that happens. So the show is, at least initially, is about him trying to fulfill his bucket list before he becomes a zombie or he gets killed.
Oh, okay. I like that. And it's pretty good.
I've enjoyed it. I've been enjoying it a lot.
You know, I've been trying to watch stuff I want to. I caught up on What We Do in the Shadows. I think the end of After Party is on Apple right now. After Party is fantastic. You got to figure out some way to get this. It's a murder mystery. The first season is a murder mystery at the after party of a high school reunion, and then someone gets killed there. And so the Tiffany Haddish, she's the detective. She comes in, and in every episode, she's interviewing the next person, and they're telling their story, their perspective of the same party that everyone does, but everyone's perspective is of a different movie style.
Oh, that sounds
so
interesting.
One's like a rom-com, one's like the Fast and the Furious, and one's like a hard-boiled detective story.
For a party.
At a party, yeah. Everyone's telling the exact same story, but from a different perspective.
The room reeked of half-baked Cheetos.
And by the end of it,
sun-dried tomatoes.
You're actually getting little clues from each episode, and you can put them together. And so this newest one is they're at a wedding, and the groom is killed. And so everyone's trying to piece together what happened at the wedding and at the after party of the wedding. It's really funny. It's so funny.
So now I have two things named After Party I need to check out.
Oh.
There's also a video game I own but never started called After Party.
I think I know that one.
What is it?
Is that the one where there's two people, they're in hell and they...
Yep.
Is that the one?
It's the one where they get sent to hell and they learn that there's a potential loophole to get out of hell, and that's by out-drinking Satan.
That's what it is. Yeah. That looked pretty cool. I almost downloaded that one.
Yeah, I like it's by the same guys who did Oxenfree, so I'm like, well, there I am.
So I want to finish that. I just started watching Only Murders in the Building, which has Martin Short and Steve Martin, and
a lot of Martin
and Selena Gomez.
Selena Martin.
But instead, we're watching stuff that we don't care about. So we watched all of the first Shazam movie again. The second movie, which was it was awful. This morning, Ollie woke us up at 5:30 this morning, and I was like, Shazam 2. I don't care. It was not good.
Here's one that I think is worth bringing up, and then we can start the show.
God, let's start the show.
I'm sorry,
and it's also your first pick too. So
I should be good for that. So you did say you watched One Piece, and I find it interesting.
Oh my God, that was a rough ending.
Which is amazing because you're the first person I know that watched it and was like, this is just not cut. Now keep in mind, I say that not having an impression of my own.
First of all, it was really goofy in a really good way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the actors in that were just bad. Real bad.
The actors were bad? People were claiming they're a really good team for the Straw Hat characters.
Okay, the main guy, Luffy?
Yeah.
I loved him. What was her name?
Nami is the navigator.
Probably the best actor in the show.
Okay.
I
remember you said Zoro was
Zoro,
dry.
he was beyond dry. He was like bored. And I think he was going for like serious and stoic, but he was just like not there. It was terrible. It was like he was shorthand for like I'm super serious, but instead he was like staring like at the camera like.
And it makes you sad too, because at least in the pre-time skip, Zoro was serious, but he also definitely had like lighthearted moments.
Yeah.
He laughed and joked with everybody.
And the other
too.
guy,
Sanji. There's two other guys. There's Sanji, who was the chef.
Oh, he was great. Sanji was also probably the next best actor in that show. He was fantastic. And then there was the other kid,
Usopp, with the big nose.
Oh, terrible.
They probably didn't give him a big nose.
Awful. I think there might have been a prosthetic involved, or they hired that actor because he looked kind of like him.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible, awful. Couldn't stand him.
Didn't like Usopp.
No, the actor.
The actor.
Or maybe it's just the way they wrote him. It was really hard. And then like the ending of the series, the way they ended it, I was like, this is the dumbest anime crap I've ever heard in my life. No, I'll tell you after.
Okay, don't spoil for the listeners.
Spoil it for the listeners. I mean, I've never seen an anime.
See, for the anime,
honestly, this is of all of what I know about One Piece is this show.
Yeah.
The whole of One Piece, all of my knowledge of the anime is the live action show. So that tells you like
the breadth of your knowledge of this universe.
Yeah. Grain of salt. But I mean, if you're watching it on its own as it is, and you're like, okay, it's supposed to be goofy, like they do some pretty,
ridiculous things.
Not just ridiculous things, just like unforgivable like film sins. Like you just don't do that. Like you don't speed things along this way. You don't write them this way.
They cut a lot of stuff out.
They cut a lot of stuff out while also making some parts really slow. Like,
oh Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll stop complaining. Pernell, what is our first track?
Okay, let's see what's going on this side. So I know one track that I already picked, so I'm going to go with that right off the cuff.
Yeah.
That came from, I want to say it was our first time submitting a track for the show, actually, but I might be wrong. This came from Brooke. She goes by, hilariously enough, Pernell Fan 420.
I included that because she put that at the end of her email.
She does that that's her handle on Twitch.
Is it Pernell Fan 420?
Yeah. I am in hysterics every time I hear that. I'm like, you're joking. People are like, no, she's pretty serious. Good person, good heart.
Yeah.
But this track put me on to the desire to look into this game because this is a banger. This track is called Xeno Arcadia, and it comes from the game Hylics 2, composed by Chuck Salamone. Welcome back. You're listening to Xeno Arcadia from the game Hylics 2 on Steam/PC, composed by Chuck Salamone, and was submitted by Brooke, a.k.a. Pernell Fan 420. It sounds weirder when I say it myself. So she told me that she actually heard this for the first time at a VGM cover show.
Oh.
So a band was covering the soundtrack for this game, and that put her onto the interest of the OST itself. And I love that she said that to me because it vindicates my feelings of VGM cover bands and how I believe it would be awesome to work as. Like a lot of VGM cover bands, to my knowledge from talking with them, they tend to pick tracks they think will be popular in the scope of what gamers play. Right. As in, like, for back in the day when Storm Eagle from Mega Man X was one of the most popular ones, and like certain Mario tracks, right? Because they want that song to be recognized and the crowd to go, oh, I know that, let me bop to this. But to me, the true hit, the true testament is when you cover tracks from games that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
So that it ends up with the person wrapping up and going, I don't know what you just played, man, but you need to tell me what it is because I want to go look it up and find out more about it.
It's not great publicity for the band where it's like, hey, what do you guys do? We play video game covers. Oh man, I can't wait to go see you. And they go see, and they're like, they gonna play Mario Kart? They gonna play like something from Halo? And they're like, no, we're playing some music from I don't know, Choo Choo Rocket. And they're like, what? Choo Choo? I think I remember that, but I don't know the tune.
But then that track starts running.
Yeah, but then it could be. I mean,
and I've been listening to this OST the entire thing.
Oh, I gotta say,
days now.
I love Steel Samurai because I like the obscure stuff too. But like, they rock the house.
Yes, they do. They put me on like 3 or 4 games. Yeah. Like that's how I learned about Gimmick, was because of them.
Gimmick is such a good game. I love Gimmick, and it's such a good soundtrack. I think we actually have a Gimmick submission. Yeah.
We do, and I hope you pick it.
Oh,
that's a cover.
It's a cover. Okay. We'll play that later, definitely. Oh, for sure. Our next track is coming from last minute suggestion from Kristen, Game Fan 44. I gotta pick this one. It's from Hamtaro. Hamtaro.
That takes me back.
Ham Heartbreak for the Game Boy Advance. I have these little Hamtaro like plushies that I got like way back like in 2000 something, like 2001, 2002. I used to keep them in my car, and I found them again when I was cleaning out the basement. And so now I have them at work.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting on my little window. I work in the stuffiest like hedge fund financy type building, and like I have my
little hams.
I have my little ham there, and back behind me on my shelf is a Gundam wing.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to assume that she had no idea she was submitting something that resonated with you in such a way when she sent that in.
No, I love something on Hamtaro. I love Hamtaro. So I didn't get the good composer for this one. This is for the Game Boy Advance. This is Ham Swap from Hamtaro, Ham Heartbreak. That's the best part right there. That's pretty funny. We're listening to Ham Swap from Ham Heartbreak, the Hamtaro game for the Game Boy Advance. There's a lot of Hamtaro games. Let's see here. We have Kristen. She would like to say, I would like to suggest Ham Swap from Hamtaro, Ham Heartbreak on the GBA. I love this game and the one for the Game Boy Color, Hamtaro, Hams Unite. I highly recommend them if anyone likes cute adventure games. Apparently there was a third one made, but it never came out to the States. I feel like Hamtaro should have been more popular here than it was.
I'm actually surprised it wasn't popular.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit all the notes. Cute, adorable critters.
Yeah.
Running around a big environment, interacting with the humans. Like, there's now a show that right before we went to Myrtle Beach, I stopped by a friend's house where we were all going to meet to leave, and he had 2, twin girls who were watching, whatever kids watch these days on TV. And this one show that was on, it was I want to say it was a Korean animation show about these little, like, sprightly little chibi things and a girl who's practically Sailor Moon who would kind of fuse with these little chibi things to become her superhero form. Yeah. And I'm watching this and thinking like, there's a lot of Hamtaro-esque vibes here because they all ran around the house. They all had their individual tics. Like one always ended everything with chew. The other end things was like how, and it's like just weird sounds. And they all had one, and the plots were so stupid. But at the same time, the girls were really engaged. And by the end, I was like, I want to watch the end of this episode. I want to see what's going to happen. How do they figure out who the doppelganger is? It was dumb. It was really dumb. And I'm like,
so maybe there was like a Hamtaro influence, you know.
I think it's just a thing for.
I think it probably came out like too close to like Pokemon and all that stuff being way too really popular. So it kind of fell behind the scenes of like, oh, cute Japanese thing. We already have a cute Japanese thing. Too bad.
Oh, speaking of which, one thing I thought was funny, it was a track that I had picked our game I was going to pick for this episode, but I chose not to because I couldn't think of a track for it that I hadn't played on the show before. But Jump Ultimate Stars being a franchise that I miss.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But it got me thinking just how many of those shows are still around today in some capacity, despite having that game and by that extension, like Hamtaro having come out so long ago.
Yeah.
Like One Piece is still around. One Piece was getting games on the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance.
Naruto is still a thing?
Naruto is still a thing, but now it's his son. They were getting games on the GameCube, the Game Boy Advance, and stuff like that. Bleach. That came back. That's back.
They had I don't know, maybe it was a formula, or maybe it was just so popular that like people are showing it to their kids. What's my kicking?
Well, no, keep in mind, I'm not saying it got revived as like people are watching the old episodes. I'm saying there are new episodes airing today.
Wow.
For those franchises. So over 20 years ago, God, we're ancient. Like 20 years ago, these shows are still running.
Yeah.
It is.
I remember when you showed me Jump Ultimate Stars. It was on the DS.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, this plays like
Smash.
Like Smash Brothers, but with all these Shonen Jump characters that I don't know.
And it was
still don't.
Still don't.
Oh, I know Lufia now.
Yeah. I think about it, like I feel like a lot of those characters at the time I didn't know either. Yeah. Some of them I learned about because of that game.
Wow.
Like iShield 21. I learned about that from that game. And now that's like one of the only sports shows that I actually love. To this day, I was listening to the OST from that the other day driving down the highway.
You know, I the only one I got into, if you want to call it a sports one, was Initial D. But that was probably mostly just the music.
I think that counts as a sport.
It's essentially the same thing, where it's like it's the same idea of, is he gonna do the thing? Oh, he's never done the thing before. Like 2 episodes later, he did the thing.
But they also had a way. All those shows did. They had a way of animating otherwise mundane actions in such amazing ways. Like iShield was notorious for it. It was like, okay, this guy has the Devil Bat dive, and they had animations for it. They had sound effects for it. But all he was doing was jumping over the front line, the front defensive line. That was his entire shtick. But it had an actual name and animations. The one guy had something called the spear tackle, which I honestly think is probably illegal in actual football, where he just grabs the guy and just like slams him on the ground.
Oh, yeah. That you can't grab people.
But they would animate it like he was extending a lance and like thrusting it into the guy with the football. Like it was just these crazy things they would do. The rodeo drive, which was just like a really fast running back.
That's funny.
It's like, it's amazing to watch, and it made it so entertaining. I was like, I'd like this.
It was like NFL Blitz. Like I didn't like football so much, but NFL Blitz was fun. Or like NBA Jam. Those like style. It was like they kind of condensed it into something over the top that I can you can get behind. Oh, this is actually exciting.
Mm-hmm.
When like the actual sports on, and it's like unless you really know what's going on, it's like I'm super into it.
And I kid you not, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. I went to I went and watched the Super Bowl with friends after doing a thing with iShield 21. And I was trying to like get as hyped as all my friends were. And I'm like, this is no iShield 21. This is, I don't even know what's happening right now. Like I have a general idea from the concept of the sport.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I don't care about that guy. He's just a blip on the map for
when
me.
This stuff comes up, or like if there's any question about like terminology or how the game is played, like Christy relies on my knowledge. My knowledge all comes from Tecmo Bowl. And growing up with my brother.
Well, Bo knows.
Yeah, like
that's all you need to know.
Only way I know about these games is because the family that I grew up in and because of Nintendo. Like, that's it. Well, I guess Sega, because we played a lot of NHL hockey games.
Bo knows hockey.
I didn't like the basketball games on it. Bo did not know basketball. Did Bo know hockey?
I thought Bo, I'm pretty sure Bo. So remember that was the cartoon called Pro Stars, right?
Yeah, Bo no, but it's not Boz. That wasn't Boz.
No, that wasn't Boz. It was Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
And
yeah.
Bo Jackson knew, quote unquote, knew. He knew. I want to say he knew baseball. He knew football.
Yeah, because he crossed
and
over.
Knew hockey.
Because I knew he played baseball and football because he played both professionally at the same time. He's one of the few people who did that. And that's why I was like, Bo knows baseball.
And but I just thought it was amazing. That's how they did it for the show. He was the most multifaceted Pro Star. So for those who don't know, Pro Star was a 90s cartoon that featured, I want to say it was Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and one other athlete.
Oh.
And they were just superhero sports
Gretzky's
guys. I'm almost positive it was Wayne Gretzky. You have to look it up later.
He's got the best nickname, sports nickname ever. He's just the great one.
The great.
He is just the great ski. All right. So we got one more track from you, right?
Yes, we do.
Well, I got a few more, but what's your next one?
So let's see here. If I'm going down the Skilly McGilly, a track that I actually was interested, I was happy to see come through also because I also like this track and I've listened to it on my own time, came from Curly Kevin. This is from the Mega Man Xtreme OST from the Game Boy Color, and this is the Flame Stag theme. He didn't put a composer, but I'm going to assume it was probably the same as some of these other ones from Mega Man X games, which was Gregorio Franco, but we can confirm that later.
Yeah, we'll confirm it on the website, because you know what? We're going to listen to some music now.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Flame Stag theme from the game Mega Man Xtreme on the Game Boy Color, submitted by listener and friend Curly Kevin. So, for those who don't know, the Mega Man Xtreme games are similar to the Mega Man / Rockman World games that were also released on the Game Boy, where they kind of took characters from two different Mega Man games and combined them together to make a sort of hodgepodge Mega Man title. So you kind of have a mix of the stages and bosses and the like. And I like this track for a number of reasons, but I'm not going to reveal those just yet because for all I know, Curly Kevin might do that. So let's see what he has to say about this selection he submitted to us. He goes, I am behind on the show a little. Totally understandable. We've been doing this for a long time.
So are we.
Oh, yes. So are we.
Yeah.
Finding out about submissions and the topic on Discord, I can think of one franchise that at least did not finish its story and probably should have at the 5th game, which I believe is actually true. They were like, they just wanted more money. I am talking about Mega Man X. I miss the story as I like the characters, the gameplay, of which I played Zero a lot, and they could make an interesting game and story for Mega Man X9 using what happened in Mega Man X8. Capcom could tie up the loose ends with Zero's creator as well as X's creator. I have thought of the story plot for about 10 years now and how to wrap it up in a nice bow so that they can move on to things that happened before Mega Man Zero. Here I present two options to you. I have never played the Mega Man Xtreme games on the Game Boy Color. I bring Mega Man Xtreme's Flame Stag theme. It's very different from the SNES version. I can dance to it while the version for the SNES is more of a thrash or trash metal. I never thought of it that way.
I meant to say thrash, but yeah, it is.
No, honestly, it might have been
like
trash.
Well, there's something about using the PSG, like that kind of chiptune sound, makes it more dancey sounding.
Also, I'll ignore the Gregorio Franco from the Flame Stag thing I mentioned earlier, even though I did say it was kind of a potential one, because the other tracks he submitted, that was the guy that covered those tracks for like a Mega Man X Works album. But like I said, we'll add it to the actual show notes as to who the actual composer is. So, like I said, the Mega Man Extreme games, for some reason I didn't quit into buying those myself. I liked the Rockman World games because I liked how they animated the character and how he still kind of looked like Mega Man and everything still looked like they did on the NES, but a little larger and black and white. Whereas the Super Nintendo, that was a little bit harder for them to say, okay, let's put this on the Game Boy Color. It didn't like Mega Man X looks like squanchy in that game.
Oh yeah, you'd have to be because the resolution's so much smaller.
Yeah. There's something about it. I just couldn't bring myself to be like, I'm going to go play this version of it now.
I didn't know it existed. A lot of the Game Boy Color games at that time, I just fell off my radar. I just wasn't buying them anymore. Yeah.
Oh, I was all about the Game Boy Color, boy. I was always about portable handhelds in general.
Oh, absolutely.
And to this day, as you can clearly see.
Well, when the GPC, as the people say, came out, I ended up getting a Neo Geo Pocket Color, and I played a lot of that.
That system was ahead of its time, too.
Yeah.
It released in the States too late to pick up steam because the color was on its way.
Yeah, essentially. So if it's Nintendo branded, something was just going to blow out of the water anything that was in front of it. Which, good or bad, because there was some good stuff. Good stuff on the Game Boy Color. Just I've never upgraded my Game Boy from the big gray box. That's just I played all of Pokemon Red on that thing.
That sweet spinach green.
Yeah, it was a big box, all green. I played a lot of games on that thing.
It was a good time.
I wish I never got rid of it. I can pass it down to Ollie, make him play.
I mean, you could always find one in the retro
Give me that
market
iPad.
for peanuts.
Take this thing.
I mean, you could find one for peanuts on the retro market. I don't think the Game Boy original maintained a large value or anything.
Probably not. I mean, those things last forever too.
Unless you still have mine.
I'm sure you do. You kept everything.
Yeah, I did.
Well, most everything.
It's a problem now.
Okay, so we're going to get into a bit of a quiz game. How do you feel about that, Pernell?
I don't know. What's the quiz? I might be afraid or I might be excited.
Okay, so we're going to be going into a bit of your game knowledge.
Dun, dun,
okay.
Dun.
But also...
Keep in mind, I'm old now. Oh God, that's what you wanted. You want an excuse to bring this jerk back.
I'm not going to play the music, but there is the dog, the UFO dog from Silent Hill.
Oh boy, it was him all along.
It was him all along, everybody.
That little animal Muppet.
So, programmers like to put in Easter eggs in video games, and some of them are so bizarre that you can't believe that they actually exist.
So is this more like a true or false? Like, did it happen or did it not?
Is it real or is it something that I made up?
Okay.
So it has to be like, can you believe that it's actually in the game, or do you think it's silly enough that I wrote it?
Okay, I like this one then because I don't have to feel like I have to know specific trivia, but I can infer knowledge.
My track record's always 0 for 0. Maybe I'll sneak one past you, but you're usually pretty good at these things because I think you know my sense of humor. Anyway, so. All right, so listeners at home, we're gonna be playing. This is the most I've talked in over a week.
We're gonna lingering COVIDings.
We're gonna play. This is a real Easter egg. All right, first one. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. By putting the disc in your CD player, it would skip to a second hidden track with a message from Alucard. He tells you that it's a black PlayStation game and you shouldn't put it in your stereo. And
That's
then it
true.
Plays a remix song, right?
That's true.
That's absolutely true.
I did that.
I was looking up Easter eggs. I had forgotten about that. And he's like, "Hello, players. You probably think this is a real CD, but this is a black PlayStation disc, and you shouldn't put it in your disc player, but you probably have done so anyway." And then it plays like a remix of one of the songs.
Working Designs was also notorious for doing something like that for a lot of their games, where
really?
It was like they would say like, "This game is this disc is a game for the Sega CD system or wherever." You do not put it into your stereo or kiss your biddies goodbye, and like this massive explosion happens. It's been a while, man.
I love that they did stuff like that. Next one. Wave Race Blue Storm. Putting in a cheat code during the main menu will change the announcer of the game with an ultra sarcastic announcer that berates you the entire game.
I have that game, and I don't recall that. And if it's true, I'm going to do it when I get home. So I'm going with false.
Oh, but Pernell, it is true.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you put in at the main menu with some weird ass code, it was actually discovered like 5 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That recent?
Yeah, it was pretty recent, and it does stuff like "You're terrible. Why would you do this?"
I kind of want to do that. I still have that game.
You should check it out. It's pretty funny. All right, next one. Battle Arena to Shinden. As an advertisement for the movie Mars Attacks, which also came out the same year, there's a Martian alien character hidden in the home version of the game.
This is a devious one, specifically because all the games you've named are games I own. Which means if I never did it, that means that's an Easter egg still waiting for me to find. So I'm going with false.
Oh, and you would be correct. That is fake.
There we go. Like, there's no way we missed the Mars Attacks reference in Battle Arena. My friends were obsessed with that game when it came out. Also, that was a lot of reference. That's a lot of research you put in. Like, it came out the same year as Mars Attacks, and they had a tie-in. But the other reason why that would be a harder one to take in is that Battle Arena to Shinden was an extremely Japanese game. And I don't think Mars Attacks was a very big franchise there.
No, but it was the thing. It was enough to be a feature movie, and I remember going to see it and being like, "What the hell is this about?"
Oh no, in the States, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but in a Japanese title, definitely not. Civilization 5. This is the newest one.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the third age, the player may obtain a new great person character. This is like they give you like player characters. And me and Chrissy played this recently. If the player selects Albert Einstein and also ends the third age having destroyed at least 15 opposing cities and enters a special code in the menu after saving, there are special cutscenes where Einstein says, "I invented that," after creating any other unit.
That's a very elaborate one. That has to be true.
I made that one up.
Wow, that was good, man.
I was sitting on the couch last night, and Chrissy's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Wouldn't it be funny if every time you did something in Civ, Albert Einstein was like, 'I invented that. I invented that. I invented that.'"
I invented that. Maybe they could hear this episode and actually put it into the game proper. I should tell Matt. Matt, go ask him to put it in the game.
All right, Dead Rising 2. There's a reference to Resident Evil's famous line, "You are almost a Jill sandwich."
Definitely true. I've
in
seen
the
that.
food court. Yeah, with the store Jill's Sandwiches.
I've absolutely seen that.
And there's a picture of Jill's Sandwiches right there.
I loved. I hated the whole.
Like I mean, in that game, like they were gonna put silly stuff in that game. The whole game is all silly stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dead Rising 1 and 2. I've never played 3 and 4 despite owning them, but 1 and 2, despite hating the whole real time, you got to do it in a certain amount of time, I played the crap out of those games.
I never played them, but I have watched the Game Grumps play through the second one more than once because it is so fun.
I wager they had a ball with
They
that.
have no clue what they're doing half the time, and they're just like killing themselves. They kill all the player characters by accident.
Wow.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So yeah, I recommend that.
My favorite weapon, by the way, maybe in the second game, but it was boxing gloves with like knives on them. It was the simplest concept for all the combined weapons you could get. And then, of course, the Mega Buster.
The Mega Buster is always fun. All right. Perfect Dark. Hidden in every stage is a piece of cheese. You can't grab it. You can't shoot it. It's just there.
What? I own but barely touched Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
I want to say false. Then again, wait. Perfect Dark had a lot of stupid stuff in it, though. Like a lot
I
of
never
them.
played it, yeah.
I'm going to go with true.
It was absolutely true. Every stage has a hidden piece of cheese. It was meant to be an item to use in the game, and they forgot they ran out of time, and they just left it in the game.
So they just never coded the ability to pick it up and use
or
it.
do anything with it. It's just pieces of cheese all over the game.
The mice are coming.
Doing pretty good.
I don't know, man. I missed 2, and I'm actually very
I'm
upset about that.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Each item in the operator menu spells out the word Monica. This is a reference to a special character, Monica Lewinsky, who is a color swap
Absolutely
of
not
Katana.
true.
This is a joke reference of Bill Clinton's appearance in NBA Jam.
If that were true, I would have absolutely known about that because that would have been all over the place. Absolutely false.
Oh, come on.
You know dang well that is false.
I just had fun with this.
Oh, you did, and it was funny. But it's also false. There's no damn way that's true.
Yeah, that was fake.
Katana is Monica Lewinsky.
They've had some really... I mean, like, if they're going to be, like, some... If that level of Easter egg was going to be in any game, it was going to be in Ultimate... Like, in any of the Mortal Kombat games.
Pulls down...
It's going to be in there.
Actually, I even had an idea of how the jaw would actually work as a joke, too.
Oh, yeah. We all do.
Good lord.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. When exiting the Owlbear Nest area, there's a tall pillar which leads to 4 large doors. Exiting to the main menu and then back to the game 3 times will result in a short cutscene where it ends with Asteron saying, "This certainly is a Baldur's Gate."
Why would someone do that?
It's a big game.
But at the same time, why would you reference Baldur's Gate 3 as a made-up Easter egg? Nah, it's gotta be. It's too soon, too. There's no way that's an Easter egg.
Okay, to be fair, people find Easter eggs way faster now because they just like dump the game and then look through it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Change your answer?
No, it's gotta be.
It's fake. It's fake. You're right.
Trying to get into my head.
No, I know. I'm trying to, but like that's such like a. Like I think that would be so
that
funny.
That certainly is a Baldur's Gate.
What a Baldur's Gate we've got going on here.
Certainly Baldur's Gate there, young man.
Star Wars Rebel Assault. Pressing a secret code during a full motion video cutscene would create a fake Mystery Science Theater joke commentary along with cutouts of Joel and the bots from the show.
I want that to be true.
So
I'm saying it because I want it to be true.
You true to will it into existence?
I want to will it into existence.
It's real.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's not Joel and the bots. It's actually Darth Vader and C-3PO and R2-D2. I owned this game and played it so much as a kid. It's all full motion video.
So you actually did that trick and used it?
No, it's barely a video game. I had no idea that was in there, and I'm really sad because when this came out, I was even more obsessed with Mystery Science Theater then than I am today.
Huh.
And like that's all I watched. Like now, I put it on before bed because they're still making new episodes. So yeah, I was really sad to learn about that because I really would have loved to have seen that. But yeah, apparently they do like silly riffs through the entire game. Yeah, they just put it on the disc, and that's it. There's Jill Sandwich.
You almost became a Jill Sandwich. Resident Evil. The first game that got me into like hilarious was basically now like Team 4-star type stuff, where like people just dub over the game content or like mix up the audio from the game content. Thank you, Resident Evil, for putting me onto that concept.
Are we still streaming? Oh, we are still streaming. Good.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm still in there. I'm seeing people.
I was not looking at the right timer. Okay. Our next track is coming from Electric Boogaloo. This is from Ridge Racer 2 for the PSP. This is a remix of the song Heart of Hearts, composed and arranged by Ayako Saso.
Them say one, them a teach them. I say tell them again. I say with them I come up, me say with them I defend. Say yes, a crowd of people come and hear me again. I'm the styler. Yes, crowd of people want to hear me a while. Let's put up your face, time so with a smile. I have some more to do. Say we have data, say chat, no come
We're back. That was Heart of Hearts remix from Ridge Racer 2 for the PSP by Ayako Saso. EB says, I hope y'all enjoyed this fabulous remix of a classic Rave Racer track. When I first heard this track, I knew I had to immediately import a copy of Ridge Racer 2 for the PSP so I could race with it. Thankfully, the game itself did not disappoint. It's sort of a mega mix of Ridge Racer's past, combining tracks from all the consoles and arcade entries at that point. Some pretty great new songs, some classic old ones, and these fantastic new arrangements by the original composers. Of course, once it started to show up on the PS4 for purchase, I bought it right away, and right now I'm going through the world tour to unlock all the cool stuff. I did see this. I was looking up Ridge Racer games on the PlayStation Store, and this came up. A lot of the reviews said it was just a port of the PSP version. And I was like, oh, should I get it? But 80 cents, it's good. So if you have a PSP laying around, or a PS4 or PS5, and you love good arcade racers, the 2006 Ridge Racer 2 is well worth getting. And maybe if enough people buy it, we could get a new one, I hope. And then you had a correction. I totally forgot that Ridge Racer 6 on the 360 predated Ridge Racer 2 on the PSP by about a year. Actually has all the tracks from the PlayStation Ridge Racers at that point, plus Rave Racer and a few original tracks. It's essentially an upgraded version of the first Ridge Racer PSP game that launched with the platform back in 04 and 05. So yeah, this is a jam. Like, this is one of my favorite tracks.
And also, he also put in some legwork for us too for that last track with the Flame Stag. He came back and mentioned that it was actually composed by Yuki Iwaii, arranged by Toshio Kajino and or Saori Maida. Huh. So definitely appreciate it there.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we gotta say, like, EB is always doing a little bit of work behind the scenes here at the Rhythm and Pixels headquarters.
It's appreciated.
Yeah, very much appreciated. Thank you very much.
And he somehow is quick with links. Like, I tell you, people think we were joking. I'm like, I feel like he might actually not be a human. I think he's a computer. And he's a database. He just pulls information out as needed. It's like, here you go.
I think he is VGM GPT.
VGMDB.net?
No, he's VGM GPT.
GPT.
That's right. We're talking to AI here, man.
And one last thing. He mentions remembering Prince of Tennis being a cool thing, and that is 100% correct. Cool, Prince of Tennis was awesome. Also, Prince of Tennis, even though not as a selectable character, it was represented in Jump Ultimate Stars at least. The main character was a support character where he would come in and like spike a ball at a person and like just pretty much knock him off the arena. And they had a Prince of Tennis stage too, so definitely got its cool representation because it is a cool franchise. Doo-doo. God, that music stuck in my head again.
Too much here. All right. Yeah, this is really, really good. Are you thinking about the Jump Ultimate Star stuff?
Yeah, man. That music in that game was pretty good.
All right. What's your next track there?
All right. So let me see. I had it here, and I got into the magic of the fun and the gooberness here. So my next track actually comes from. I'm actually debating. Should it come from me? Or because I did want to bring a track where I could also bring another track into too that I saw that was really cool.
I think we're going to end up hitting everybody, so you can go ahead and do it.
In that case, then I'm actually going to pick a track from a game that I kind of miss, and it kind of got announced recently in a loose, weird way that made me just think about it more and kind of sad about it. This comes from the game Rayman. And the track title is called Mr. Dark's Dare, and I believe it was composed by Remi Gazel. Welcome back. You've listened to Mr. Dark's Dare from the game Rayman which released on multiple systems, but it initially released on the Atari Jaguar, composed by Remi Gazel, or Gazel. And Rayman is a franchise that I have a huge soft spot for. It was one of the first two games I bought on the Sega Saturn when I acquired it. And at the time, I was actually kind of regretting buying the Sega Saturn. I thought I got the short end of the stick when my brother got the PlayStation before I did. And it didn't make sense at the time to have the same console twice in the same house.
Yeah.
So I bought the Saturn, being the only other 32-bit system on the market at the time that wasn't crap. And it was a time that I was like, okay, what games do I want for this thing? Because nothing on the system really interests me right now. I was interested in like Devil Summoner, but it ended up not releasing in the States. So I'm like, okay, what else is here? There was like Bug. These are the first three games I ended up getting.
On the Saturn? Yeah.
On the Saturn. I got Bug, I got Guardian Heroes, and I got Rayman.
Okay, but Guardian Heroes, that wasn't launched. That was early though, right?
No, I didn't get the system at launch. I got it well later.
Okay.
Saturn was way overpriced at launch.
Getting Guardian Heroes early is pretty great.
Oh, yeah. And don't get me wrong. The Guardian Heroes was by far like the most popular game I had on that system across me and my friend circle. But with that said, I bought Rayman initially just being like, I guess it's another game to buy. It's something to do or whatever. So I wasn't even enthusiastic about the game. It was just a pity purchase. And what ended up happening was completely unexpected. It was the equivalent of when I talk about review copy games I get that look stupid on paper, and then after actually playing it, I realized just how much of a masterpiece they actually are. Rayman fit that bill. I love Rayman. More so the first game than any other. Though I do like Origins and Legends, Rayman 1 is peak for me. It starts out real simple and small. The only thing he can do is jump. He can't even attack people. And as you play through the game, you get abilities from Bertilla the Fairy, which allows you to kind of expand your repertoire of moves. And you go to these different stages that are extremely vibrant and elaborate and colorful and challenging, too, with lots of cool secrets to find. And the music is... mwah! I cannot say enough much I love the OST.
It's really, really good. So, who came through? Dustin. I forget their handle. They're doing White Room. This is from the song White Room.
What's White Room? The track. Oh, that sound you were hearing?
Yeah. It sounded so much like a song. I'm listening also, but I'm also like, what is this from?
Oh, it was in your head, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you also had Bug. Yeah, man. Bug was a game that
it was Cream. Oh, okay, cool.
I actually did like Bug, but it was rough around the edges in some respects. But I did like what it tried to do with 3D platforming before they actually got a full grasp on like 360-degree platforming.
Fortunately, my pass-through of applications doesn't work, so we're not going to listen to Cream right now. But that's okay. It's very much
keep the link up because I want to hear it. Try to see if you can spawn that sound later.
Yeah, here's a. I think this is it.
But before I forget, so what ended up happening with Rayman over the years is Rayman had Rayman 1, then they had Rayman 2 and 3, which is when they attempted to go to 3D platforming, ended up on like the Dreamcast. They were decent games, but to me they paled to Rayman 1. And then it just kind of fell off entirely for years and many years until Rayman Origins came out. It was like a revival of the franchise. Rayman Origins is to this day, and I'll fight over this, it's one of the best platforming games ever made. Yeah, period.
You've talked about this game, and I really should get my hands on it at some point.
It's so cheap too.
Yeah.
But it's literally one of the best platforming games ever created. Rayman Legends was also great. They did a lot of stuff with it, and I adore it. But it didn't hit like Origins did just because of what that game brought to the table. And then the game franchise fell off again for like a decade or more. And then Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope came out last year, I want to say, which is Ubisoft's like XCOM version of Mario. Mario combined with the Rabbids being the franchise that got started in 2006.
Turn-based strategy Mario with Rabbids.
Yeah, and the Rabbids were brought out by Rayman in 2006 when the Wii came out.
Oh, that's
it was like this weird mini-game collaboration where it was like Rayman is just your proxy to deal with Rabbids. So it wasn't really a Rayman game. But the studio behind the original Rayman has a soft spot and want to bring him back. So they were like, we're going to release DLC for this game that features Rayman in it. And people were excited because does this mean Rayman is coming back? Is he coming back? And all the reviews I read for the DLC was just like, this doesn't even feel like it should have been. Rayman deserved better. But there's still this weird hope that maybe this will be like a spearhead that says we can make a new Rayman game now. Just think we can do this. It could be fun.
Yeah, if enough people buy Ridge Racer 2 on the PlayStation, maybe they'll make another Ridge Racer game. It's hard to say what these companies are looking at, what they're looking for before they make these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually money, but it could also be like, what longevity of a series.
Bedroth asked a question that maybe EB might know the answer to, but I honestly don't. He says, which Rayman game has the Tiger Run stage on it?
Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger. It's blocked by the heart icon in the corner.
Oh, I see.
I do know what that's Rayman Legends. So Rayman Legends, they have boss stages in the games that are auto-run levels in tune to music, like covers of famous music tracks. And the Mariachi Madness stage, I believe, is Eye of the Tiger. So you're running in like this weird, like food-inspired hellscape, fighting mariachi skeletons and dodging just weird mess. And Eye of the Tiger's playing to all your movements.
Oh,
it's
that's
amazing.
Hilarious. Yeah,
it's really cool. My favorite level for that game that did that was like there's like a song called Dragon Slayer, and you're like running through like this like flaming pit with like dragons flying around. You're like running on their backs and jumping off the walls. It is so, oh my God. I want to play it right now. It's such a good game.
Right.
And again, if anybody's interested in Rayman Origins or Legends, they can both be acquired for peanuts right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're older games, right? And so you can just pick them up. Like they're classics. At this point, they're classics. Pernell, we're classics.
We are classic. There goes my back.
All right, our next game is coming from a game I'm currently playing. This is from our listener, podcaster in arms, Bedroth. This is from Sea of Stars. This is the Hills of Determination Daytime, composed by Eric W. Brown, a.k.a. Rainbowdragoneyes. All right, we're back. We're listening to music from Sea of Stars by Rainbowdragoneyes, Eric W. Brown. Bedroth says, "Hey guys, I am glad everyone is doing better. I hope I can make it to the show, but it would be fun to listen back even if I can't." And I see him on the chat, so it's nice to have you here with us.
He's always awesome to have around.
He would like to recommend Hills of the Termination Day from the recently released Sea of Stars composed by Eric Brown, a.k.a. Rainbowdragoneyes. He's been having a highly nostalgic time with this game. The soundtrack is so good. My friend Brian and I are doing an episode of BGM Mania about it this month, and it was near impossible to narrow down the tracks. This particular tune was one of the runners-up, and it might be familiar to folks who have played the last game from Sabotage, which was The Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea, because I only got through so far of that game. I couldn't get through it. It was just, honestly, for me, it was the dexterity.
I thought you were going to say the second half, but yours.
No, I never got to that point. It was one of the bosses. I just couldn't get past it. It was like a dragon thing in the sky, and you had to do a lot of these double jump things.
Yeah, that part is rough. That's right before the game joust stiff.
I mean, I took the time to finish Celeste. And that was a lot of tough jumping. This was like it was so much for my hand and my eyes.
Is it possible it was because it was a combination of the platforming and combat? Whereas Celeste has no combat?
Totally, yeah. If it was just platforming, it'd be another thing, but it was the combat too. So it just kind of put me off on the rest of it. But it was beautiful music and a really beautiful game. So I don't think I put it together that these were the same. It was just the same studio, or even the same artist. Like I had no idea until I read his testimonial.
I will say. Did you finish the testimonial? Because we did that thing we do.
Yeah, it's all done. Yeah. Before we came back and started recording, Pernell and I talked about kitchens.
Oh, before we shift to that, also I want to make a comment.
No,
too.
you don't have to shift back to that.
So I want to say that for folks who might not know of him in that sense outside of this show, or you should because he has another show he works on that's freaking awesome. But Bedroth is a legit dude. So I've been dealing with some stuff personally where I'm trying to acquire more of that sweet green dinero, that thing that runs a lot of lives. And out of nowhere, without being prompted, he reached out and was like, "Hey man, if you need something, I got this option here that you might want to look into." Like basically he did that thing that the world would be a much better place if more of us did that thing for each other, where it's like, hey, I can help. I have an idea. Yeah. I'm going to extend myself and offer it. And I couldn't utilize it because of what I'm trying to engage with, but I wanted to acknowledge that it was a greatly appreciated extension of, offering an option when you obviously could have just been like, I don't care. This is entertainment for me, stuff like that. But you actually did the thing. You did the cool person thing, and it's appreciated.
It's the friend thing.
It's the friend. A lot of friends don't do that, though.
I mean, I'm saying, but a good friend would.
Good point. There
so
it is.
and for someone who's kind of an internet friend, we know tangentially through doing a podcast, and it's really nice.
Yeah, he's legit.
Yeah,
Bedroth is a legit dude.
It's it's someone who's living
La Vida Loca.
La Vida Loca. I heard that recently. I've been listening to the 90s station on Sirius XM. But no, he's like living by like a good moral code of helping out people. It's refreshing.
It very much
absolutely
is
refreshing. Again, I work in finance, and people don't care about other people, so it's refreshing to be around people who care about people.
That's right. It's like that in that Simpsons episode. Welcome back to the Don't you just love being a part of the VGM community where people care about each other?
Yeah. Welcome back to Hollywood. All right, we're going to turn this track down, and we're going to get in the part of the show we call the bonus round.
Bonus round.
Now, unfortunately, we have talked a little bit too long, and we're going to have to we want to play the music and read the testimonials, but we have a little bit of time crunch here. So, Pernell, what did you pick a?
I absolutely did.
Yeah, we got some really good picks. This whole we announced the show like 3 days ago, and we got so many great picks. So, what do you have?
So, my bonus round pick comes from Musashi219. The wise guy himself, Chris Weisner, and this is the boss battle theme track from the game Lufia 2 being covered by a favorite of mine as well, ToxicEternity. Welcome back. You've listened to the boss battle cover of the boss battle theme being covered from Lufia 2 by ToxicEternity, submitted by Musashi219, the wise guy, Chris Weisner himself. Chris Weisner.
Reisner.
So, it may be a secret because of the fact that it doesn't come up often enough, but I really, really love the boss theme from Lufia 2. It was the thing, and it's the thing that made me want to play that game, and I did play a good chunk of it a few years ago. And so hearing a cover of it from one of my favorites is, there it is. But what did Chris Weisner have to say about this track? He goes, "Howdy, Rhythm and Pixels. I'm currently about halfway through Sea of Stars, which so far has been a very fulfilling, nostalgia-riddled experience with plenty of callbacks to classic JRPGs of yore. With its fair share of puzzles to solve and tools like a grappling hook that lets you both travel and stun enemies, I couldn't help but be reminded of the Lufia series, particularly Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals, and the fact that there hasn't been a proper original installment in the series for decades. For shame. While he doesn't have a ton of composing credits to his name, Yasunori Shiono's work on Lufia series is one of the many quests that make up the RPG VGM journey us elders grew up hearing. As a longtime fan of VGM shredder ToxicEternity's work, here's a ripping cover of Lufia 2's boss battle theme. Always happy to see a new episode in the works and hope you gentlemen are doing well. Signed, the wise guy." We are doing our best, and fortunately, we are there for each other when needed, which helps things matter along in quite a good way because we need people in this freaking world. I can tell you right the heck now.
We do.
It's been a spicy bit. And
we need jams like the Lufia 2 battle theme. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like, you forget, like that was one of the tracks that really got me interested in classic video game music again. Lufia 2. So it's like sometimes you listen back, like it was awesome for a reason. Like it's got you into it for a reason. Our next track is coming from Martyrus. This is a remix or a cover of "Happy Birthday" from Gimmick. We talked about Gimmick earlier. This is covered by Martial Art. Oh yes, Happy Birthday Gimmick. that was chosen by our friend, listener, Patreon member, fellow podcaster, host of the VGM podcast, Martyrus.
Martyrus is not martial art. Wait, or is he?
The song was covered. It was a Masashi Kageyama covered by Martial Art. Martyrus would like to say, I discovered this game while prepping for last year's birthday episode. This is a game that I had never ever heard about, and since then has piqued my interest. It looks fun and quirky as I watch some of the gameplay on YouTube. While this game is now available on the Switch as a special edition, I figured I'd include it as a game I missed out on. I also hope you'll play it, as my birthday was last weekend and I turned 5 decades old. Yes, my man.
He's only slightly younger than me.
We are working up to that. But yeah, I love Gimmick. Gimmick is so hard. It is like a short game that is incredibly hard, but it has some of like my favorite NES music ever.
I think I'll finally end up playing it once my Switch copy shows, because I actually did, despite telling myself I'm done buying limited edition games, I did end up buying that and the other one, Trip World DX.
Oh, okay. That one's we played a lot of music from that. Well, not a lot. We played some music from that one. That one's supposed to be like short and sweet. Gimmick is hard as nails. It's so cute. It's so cute, and it is so hard.
Also, I'm kind of dating myself here by the fact that when you announced the track title, and I do know this track's title from previous experience, for some reason my brain still went to Catgirl Nuku Nuku, which also has a track called Happy Birthday.
Happy Birthday.
And I've been playing it in my head ever since you said it. Gosh darn it. Was not intended.
Well, for more information on the bonus round, please go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to the artists' Bandcamps, SoundClouds, everywhere you can download, buy, stream the music, support the artists. That would be great. Thank you very much. All right, thank you everybody for listening to the show. Our episode 37-1. We're going to call this Time for Games. Time for Games.
There was time now. Time for games.
Thank you everyone showed up. This has been a live stream show. If you wanted to be a part of our live stream shows in the future, go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. I keep hoping we can get back to a regular show. As soon as I started making plans for it, you went on a trip, and then I got super duper sick. So
yeah, because I will say, my life has gotten rockier as well as yours has. But I will say, as long as I know that you're good with doing an episode, for the most part, I don't think I've had anything that's really been like, we can't do it because of me right now.
Well, I think that we can probably start going back to recording around like 8 o'clock at night. Because he goes to bed at like 7.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like 1 week we can do it in person, and then another week we can do it remotely, like at that hour.
Okay.
Because I don't want to risk waking him up.
Well, now that my computer is back up and running again, we could do remotes again.
So let's start figuring out like a regular schedule, and I think we can kind of get back to it.
All right. Which means also, guys, I think I have a list of them already, but hit us with some topics, because we're a little rusty on topics.
Might be a little bit of a wild card until a bit later. But yeah, anyway, if you want to get in contact with the show, if you want to say hi, you want to say hello, if you have any questions or suggestions about the show, please send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And for more information about the show, a full track listing of this episode, and access to all of our episodes, go to the website.
www.rhythmandpixels.com.
Now you can get all of our episodes there. Our podcast feed only goes back to World 3, which is still a ways back. But I mean, if you want to hear like 2015, 2016 episodes, you'll have to go to the website. Every other week I've been releasing kind of throwback episodes, and they've been really interesting to listen to. There's one episode where I was talking about how I wasn't going to, I couldn't play Street Fighter V yet because I hadn't purchased a PS4. So yeah, it's fun to listen back to some of these older episodes. So I'll be doing those for a little while longer, probably through the fall, maybe. The Fall of Civilization. And if you'd like to support the show, we also have a YouTube station, youtube.com/rhythmandpixels, where we play 8-bit, 16-bit classics and deep cuts 24/7. I'm also running the KVGM Last Wave live station. You go at KVGM YouTube, and he is every episode from that show is on that station right now, almost. Which is like over like 1,600 songs. It's really, really impressive. I really like that station. I'm running that from a separate server, and so that hasn't gone down yet. I'm really pleased with that station, so check that out on youtube.com. youtube.com. If you like to support the show, the best thing you can do is to share it with other people or tell people about it. You can also help us by going to Patreon, patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And as a member there, you get access to live stream episodes, which will eventually come back to being monthly again. You get also, there's some exclusive content on the website, Patreon. There's also stuff like stickers, and there's mugs, and there's exclusive t-shirts. And also, we like to thank members who are at the highest levels at the end of every episode. So I'd like to thank Brooke, Corey, and Khalid. The three of you, thank you very, very much for your support of our show. Khalid, also, thank you so much for that email. We always love hearing from you, and it was really nice to hear those kind of words from you. Thank you so much. I want to thank you to Kristen, GameFan44. Thank you to Martyrus, host of the ReVGM podcast. Thank you to Mike Myers, Fashion8060, Antmaster, Brian Pitt, Cameron Werma, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito, co-host of the Heroes 3 podcast, Chris Weisner, a.k.a. Musashi219.
The wise guy.
Thank you to Christopher Senstrom, host of Gameable Audio podcast, Davey Cakes, David Good, David Taylor, and Chilagata Rego, Harold Howard, Triple Jeff, Justin Schneider, host of XVGM Radio, Keith Shusterman, Rage Cage, host of the VG Emporium podcast.
He's approaching episode 100.
Oh, that's a huge milestone for any show, but 100 episodes. So congratulations. I'm looking forward to that one. Well, thank you to Reinhard Selkova, Sleepy S'more, Steve Miller, Taco, and Zach Thornbach. All of you, thank you very, very much, and many, many more for your support of our show. Helps keep everything all hosted, helps keep us fed.
And also just worth noting as an extension of that, like, I know that we've been very finicky with our releases over the course of the summer or so, and it's very appreciated that you guys are still like, no big deal. You do what you got to do. Take care of your own stuff.
Yeah.
And you didn't just like drop support. You're just kind of hanging out with us.
Yeah, fortunately, podcasting, especially retro podcasting, is very different from like Twitch streaming or even YouTubing, where like if you don't produce for a week,
you're forgotten.
You are forgotten. But it's a little different. You know, people like save up episodes. You know, I can't listen to this one this week, so next week I have 3 I can listen to. So,
and we have a lot in the kitty.
We have a lot. If you're new to the show, or if you're newish to the show and you're looking for podcasts to listen to, just go back and look for topics that look interesting to you. I suggest doing that.
Or wild card it. Just roll a die, 2 dice, and get 2 numbers and say, here's the episode I'm looking at.
But don't be a hero and go from 1 to 100 to 200 to 300. It's too much.
Or be a hero. My Hero Video Gamia.
You could do that. You can count all the way up to our most current episode, which is 300 and something. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid to even look. Well, I am looking. Podcast episodes. This is going to be our 363rd mainline episode.
Wow, because I know we did a 300th episode spectacular at one point.
We have done 17 bonus beats episodes. And then I think there was a couple like little one-off things. But then we also did during the beginning of the pandemic, we did a bunch of Patreon exclusive content where we just chat for like 20-30 minutes before the show, which we had to stop because it was just you and me being real angry.
Well, I mean, we could have fun with that now. Technically, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do like chatting with everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly fine with the idea of like we can just meet up and like let's ramble about games and
stuff. Yeah. But it's better. I think I like it with a stream. So with a monthly meetup with the stream is good.
Oh yeah.
Committing to more, like I was originally thinking like, oh, we do this, we do a Twitch stream, we do this, we do that.
But then life happens.
And then life finds a way.
Oh, it does.
I mean, I was planning for it for months and months and months and months and months and months. It just happened all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, it's more like you planned for it, but I will never forget. You were like, "Oh, it won't be a big deal. We'll be able to do all this." And then I was like, "I don't know, man."
I never said it wouldn't be a big deal. Did I not?
Well, not in the sense of taking care of a baby, but in the sense of like being able to manage it all.
I said, I'm gonna manage. And I have a life balance, but COVID happened, and it said, "No, you don't."
It wasn't even COVID. They were talking about when you got your kid. It was like,
oh,
okay,
yeah, that was rough.
It was like, okay, I can handle all this. I can do it. I'm like, I don't know, Rob. I've seen how this works.
I can have it all, Pernell.
You was like, I can't have it all.
I can have it all. Yeah, I had to drop something, so I'm just gonna stop taking care of myself. No, now I just have to wake up at 5 a.m. to go running, and
I gotta give you that though, and that's going to tie into my remember too.
This ruined my. I've been training up for a half marathon.
But the thing is, like, I'm telling you, man, don't crap. I'm tired. Don't undervalue what the fact that you've continued to still run, even if it's not at the volume that you've been.
Yeah. Because
a lot of people would take what's going on now and they would say, this is a good excuse to stop and it'd be a valid one. Don't get me wrong.
What? I see that. I can see the pull to do that. But when you're in your 40s, it's dangerous to stop.
Yeah.
Your health is really what you have.
Yep. Not just that, but getting back on any grind. Yeah. Once you drop the grind.
If we started this in our 20s or 30s, we could probably get back to it. We have time. I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be healthy for him. I got to be healthy for you.
Stop it.
I got to be healthy for you. I know you I know the kind of body you like.
Oh, shut up. I'm trying to get my body myself. This junk is hard.
Anyway, thank you everyone for supporting us on Patreon. We will see you next week. I believe we're going to have a new show, hopefully. If not, it'll be a fun throwback episode, and we'll have a new one in the books. So, my name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
We'll see you next time.
And remember, like I said earlier in the episode, times are tough. They're going to get tougher. Let's be honest here. It's not slowing down. It's getting tougher. And despite the fact that we kind of find ourselves occasionally thinking that, we can all do this alone. I can do this by myself. I don't need nobody. I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. I don't need no friends. The fact of the matter is, that is a lie that people tell themselves when they just need to push themselves through, which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But in reality, we do need each other. We need support networks. We need friends. We need family, whether it's a large amount or a small amount. Be there for each other. Do the best you can to be there for each other, and allow yourself to let others be there for you. And most importantly, across all of that, take care of yourself so that you can be there for other people and for yourself. And it's easy to say, I'll do it later. I'm not worried about it. I ain't thinking about it. But guess what? When the time comes knocking, when the doctor says I found a thing, or when you start to realize things have gotten a little weird for you, at that point, it's already happened. Do what you can now so that you can reduce the chances of the doctor saying, I got a thing I got to tell you about. Because it's never fun when they sit you down with, I got to tell you about a thing. Trust me on that. So, have a good night.